Thank you, Professor Kotler, for your very moving words. Before we move to our next panel speaker, we're delighted that with us here in the audience are of the 800 people who've registered for the next 2 days of diplomats, activists, students, and dissidents. Among them is the permanent representative of the United States to the United Nations in Geneva, just newly arrived, Betty King, and we're delighted that you're here with us. I know you're extremely busy, and you've kindly agreed to share with us some words of greeting, and so we kindly call upon you to the podium to share a few words, if you will. You want to speak from there? Well, maybe if you could come to the podium. Please come to the podium, if you would. And I just want to say that we have human rights advocates and diplomats here, and sometimes we have both. And in Betty King, we have someone who has dedicated her life to the promotion of human rights in so many aspects of her career, and she's just been named permanent representative to Geneva, has just arrived, and we're so thrilled that you're with us here today. Thank you.
Thank you. I just found out 2 minutes ago that I had to say something, but since this is my area of expertise and interest and passion, I think I should be able to say something. First of all, I just want to say that I'm delighted to be here on the day that you are focused on women's rights. As I sat and listened to those comments, I remembered that just a few years ago, our Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, declared in Beijing that women's rights were human rights and human rights were women's rights. And from that day, the two, although they were linked before, became inextricably linked together. I also remind you that one of her first acts of Secretary of State was to name Milan Viver as our ambassador at large for women's issues. This is the first time we have had a position like this in the State Department, but it was a very prominent and important symbol to the rest of the world that this administration, and in particular this Secretary of State, was going to be focused on the issue of women's rights in the context of human rights. I am sure that all of you, if you don't already know, will get to know Milan because she's very active in many of these fora, and most of you know her reputation, and we're expecting much from her. On the broader issues of human rights, which you are going to discuss today and tomorrow, I want to reiterate both President Clinton's and the Secretary's commitment to the advancement of human rights. As a tangible indicator of that commitment, they have, as you know, nominated for the very first time a full-time Geneva-based ambassador for human rights, Eileen Donoghue, whom I hope many of you would get to know shortly. She was expecting to be here and to participate fully in this, but as you also know, we have a very long nomination and confirmation process. So she was just confirmed last week, and as an indicator of her determination to be here, she will be here by the end of this week, and hope all of you get to know her. She and I plan to devote much of our time to this very important issue. During my confirmation hearings and my briefings on the Hill, you'd be delighted to know that most of the Senate staff and the senators I talked to said, we know a lot of things, important things go on in Geneva, but for most of us, the most important thing that you can do is human rights. So we've got, at all levels of our government, a commitment to this cause. I am not new to the cause. As you know, I was here many times when I was the ECOSOC ambassador, worked on a lot of these issues, and I know some of you very well. I very much look forward to being here and continuing these conversations. I know that there are a lot of controversial issues that are being discussed as we speak at the United Nations. I am hoping that all of you will join us in having a dialogue rather than a confrontation on these issues. I think that one of the things that, the good things about the United Nations is that it should provide a forum where all points of view are heard. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. But I can assure you that I and Ambassador Donohoe, when she arrives, certainly intend to make a commitment to hearing all of these views and hopefully eventually doing the right thing. So thanks again for having me. I'm sorry that on such short notice I appeared. In fact, I only knew this morning that I was coming here and changed my agenda to be here. Because of that, I cannot be here all day, but I will spend some time and certainly invite you to continue in dialogue outside of this forum. I know you're busy for the next 2 days, but I just want to assure you that we're open to hearing your points as we are other points, and hopefully that we could together advance the cause of human rights around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much.